The Xenoblade franchise is known for many different things. Amazing gameplay, fantastic story, and having some truly amazing characters. But when you have so many amazing characters, the age-old question then arises. Who is best girl? Well, depending on which title you're talking about, the answer differs. Xenoblade 2's best girl is Nia, the sassy cat girl with a heart of gold and some amazing plot. Xenoblade 3, well, to be honest, I haven't decided who's best girl there yet, but Xenoblade 1, there are usually two contenders for the title. While there are 3 female party members, very few people would consider Charla a contender for best girl. Don't get me wrong, she is amazing, in more ways than one. Just an FYI, this video does have massive spoilers for Xenoblade 1 and Future Connected. So if you haven't played those yet, I suggest you click off now. Okay, are they gone? Okay, cool. The main debate ends up being between Melia and the 7th party member, Fiora. So before we talk about what makes Best Girl so great, let's talk about her competition. Fiora, the main protagonist's childhood friend, presumed to be dead for the first half of the game, is a great character. She's kind, sweet, strong in combat, and the narrative is very much centered around her and Shulk in the second half. You can tell that the writers absolutely loved her, because once she's reintroduced into the narrative, pretty much everyone else besides Shulk takes a backseat to her. It does bug me that the writing is so focused on her and Shulk in the second half, before she was revealed to be alive. It felt like every character was important, but after, she's pretty much the only thing Shulk cares about. Even my girl Charla, who was on Team Melia at first, changes her mind and starts rooting for the opposite team. That broke my heart when I saw it. But these are all issues unrelated to Fiora as a character. She's still a great character, but she's no Melia. Melia is introduced a decent bit into the narrative. She's the 5th party member you receive when you find her knocked out in the middle of the woods. Until you find out that Fiora's alive, the game is written to seem like Melia is going to be the secondary protagonist. So much of the narrative at this point in the story is about her. You even get sections where you only play as her, separated from the main party. I know gameplay shouldn't really factor too much into when it comes to being a good character, but Melia is one of the coolest characters to play as in this game, and I feel like it's worth mentioning. Melia is the mage of the group, providing buffs with her elements and firing off big magic attacks. Once she fires off enough, she even gets more powerful for a short period of time. She's also by far one of the best characters in chain attacks, given that her talent art, which acts as any color, can be used up to 3 times within one chain attack before needing to summon more elements. But who's Melia as a character? Melia is the princess of the High Entia, this race of quote-unquote bird people who live near the head of the Bionis. Because of this, Melia is very prim and proper, very elegant. But despite being royalty, she's humble, and outside of her initial meeting with the group, she treats everyone with respect and as an equal. Melia is the kind of character who takes her responsibilities very seriously. When we first see her, we see that she wasn't alone. Her and her group of soldiers were fighting a Telethia, this big old bird monster that kicks all their teeth in. These soldiers don't hesitate to sacrifice themselves for Melia, but she, being the best girl she is, chooses to stay and fight alongside them. She ends up being the only survivor, lets the thing get away, and nearly kills herself in the process. She would have rather died than abandon her men, and that's pretty cool. We can see in a later scene that she does grieve the loss of her men. They weren't just soldiers to her, they were friends, they were people. She's so overcome with grief, she wants to go and beg the families of those who died for forgiveness, despite the fact that everyone tells her that it wasn't her fault. When the party first meets Melia, she's very closed off, very guarded. She doesn't tell you that she's a princess or that she's half Homs. It takes time for her to open up, if even by a little bit. Her crush on Shulk is just the best, my friends, and it's clear that he likes her back, until he doesn't. That scene later in the game, the one where her heart just shatters, we all know the one. She so desperately wants to be closer to him, to support him, but at this point, his heart is solely focused on Fiora. Still hurts to this day. In general, Melia loses so much. Despite loss after loss, she still somehow always finds the strength to keep fighting. First her father dies, which is what pushed her to stay with the group and seek revenge. Then her brothers turn into a Telethia, along with half of her people, and she ends up completely losing her home to said Telethia. This poor girl has nothing left by the time the game ends. She still has her new friends, but her family was gone, her home is gone, and she didn't even get the boy she liked. Despite that, she still greets Fiora with a smile at the end of the game. There's no resentment, she's just happy to see her friend. This girl got so bad that they made a whole epilogue for the game about her just to give her a better ending. Future Connected isn't the best of the expansions that we've gotten. Between it, Torn of the Golden Country, and Future Redeemed, it's probably the weakest expansion, but it was also the only one that was free, so not going to complain about that one. But the whole point of this story is really to help give Melia back the things that she lost. The main plot is about her and Shulk going to the floating remains of the Bionis shoulder in hopes of reclaiming Alchemoth. Now, instead of being overrun with Telethia, now it's overrun with Fog Beast. Big L on that one. But with some new friends made along the way, it doesn't take long, maybe like 10 hours, to reclaim the city. That shot of her surrounded by all the people that supported her and follow her at the end is so heartwarming. You can tell she's so happy, and this is all I ever wanted for her. Melia is also able to at least get some semblance of family back. Her brother may have died, but in the main story it is revealed that she actually has a half-sister, Tyrea. Of course Tyrea tries to kill Melia, but let's not talk about that. In Future Connected though, the two are finally able to put aside their differences and get along. By the end, Tyrea becomes one of Melia's biggest supporters, putting her life on the line for her sister. That scene where Tyrea and Melia are talking right before the coronation is so wholesome. Kinda crazy that Tyrea isn't a party member in FC, but we can't have it all, I guess. Future Connected was truly able to complete Melia's character journey that was left unfinished for a decade if you're going by the original game's Japanese release date. Melia is a character who never gives up hope. She carries the weight of the world on her shoulders and will put her life on the line for both her friends and her people. She's also really cute, just saying. All of her designs have been absolute hits, and I still cry thinking that I couldn't afford to buy that figure of her with her Future Connected design. Also another thing, given it was 8 years between the original game's release and DE, her voice actress's voice changed and, man, her voice now is so good. It was good in the base game, but oh man, the lower pitch just fits her personality so well. I would gladly die for Her Majesty, Empress Melia, but that is just the humble but correct opinion of this fruit kiwi. Support Empress Melia and stay safe, everyone.